The main planets in astrology, astrologically, we have these 7 traditional planets, and it was in more recent times that the outer planets were discovered, and they include Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Astrologically, all 3, in one way or another, have to do with truth, but it's the kind of truth that takes you off one path and puts you on another. It is a karmic truth that the soul is ready for. And normally, when important activations of either of these 3 planets are occurring in the sky, important developments taking place, well, it does tend to suggest these turning point moments in a life, certainly over the course of a year. Uranus brings about its truth in a way that feels like a stadium full of light bulbs just went on, where you didn't even realize you were in the dark. Sudden and unapologetic, but also obvious. Pluto is more about the truth that comes about when you are in the dark night of the soul, dark spaces. It is there that we are invited to go deep within, to understand our real motivations and what's going on within us. And in that truth, change things right at their core from the inside out. Neptune, the other outer planet, isn't normally associated with truth because it is a planet that was discovered right around the time that photography and then film was starting, and it became associated with Hollywood. This whole idea of smoke and mirrors and glamour and presentation and the way in which illusions are created and presented. However, when Neptune goes retrograde, as is the case now, it is always a difficult, uncomfortable type of truth that comes forward. It is the truth of where it is that perhaps we've been lying to ourselves, where we bought into a fantasy, maybe even a hoax, where it is that we got caught up in some illusion, so that now that the illusion is falling away, well, it feels difficult. It feels like we're uncomfortable. We don't know where we stand. We don't know what it is that we can rely on. But that's where true karmic blessings can begin. Because it is only in accepting where it is that perhaps we've given way too much to a fantasy, to a hope, to a wish, that we then are able to more honestly evaluate, well, why is it that we're wishing for those things? Why is it that we found something that ultimately was glamour and smoke and mirrors and fantasy and hopes and wishes? Why was it so appealing to us? What is it about our lived reality that perhaps needs an infusion of spirit so that we can find that right balance? Imagination is a great gift of humanity. So much of the world that we've manifested together is as a result of imagination. But what happens when it gets carried too far? Well, each of us in our own unique ways is about to find out now with Neptune going retrograde. Now, how Neptune going retro will speak to you in your sign depends on your sun, moon, and rising. Take all 3 into consideration. Synthesize the information to make it unique to you. And there are lots more horoscopes up right now over on my YouTube channel, Nadiya_Shah, and in the superstar space at thefutureismagical.com. Aries, Neptune going retro in your sign. This is a phenomenon that hasn't happened in about a century and a half. So it's likely the very first time in your lifetime that you are experiencing this. And it is a moment of facing illusions, delusions, and having to really be honest with yourself about who you are and how far away that might be from some conceptualization of who you are. It's identity in some way being cleansed, but also needing a shot of honesty that finds you at this time. Emotions might run really high, so make sure you're taking the best of care of you now. Taurus, with Neptune going retro in the sign just before yours, a part of the sky that has to do with soul, psyche, spirit, and the unconscious part of you, well, it just might feel like you don't really know what's going on. Your intuition might feel really strong, but there might be fear in trusting it as well. And that really is okay. This is part of a sacred journey that's going to take 14 years in the making, and you're just at the very beginning learning how to access this energy. Make sure you're getting enough rest. So much can work out in the dream space at a time like this. Your dreams might be especially lucid, filled with symbolism that can help create a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious now. Gemini, group endeavors and friendships. Where is it that your expectations are reasonable and where have they not been? But also, where is it that the expectations of others placed on you have been healthy, good for you, reasonable or not? All of that is going to be explored, especially with the turning of Neptune. It does give you a chance to get really honest about how you feel about certain people, how strong you feel certain friendships are, and whether or not you feel that certain people or groups are worth giving to and investing in. There might be disappointment, but there's also a deeper layer of truth within that helps you to understand who really is for you. Cancer, career, social standing, life purpose, and your understanding of a higher, more loving vision for your life. It just might feel elusive at a time like this. It could be that there's some career disappointment, but a more likely scenario is a feeling of disconnect to meaning of what it is that you're hoping to achieve. Or there might be a sense that there's something you really got to get done and you're pouring so much of yourself into it that you're tiring yourself out. So pace yourself as you navigate this time. Your goals are expanding. It just might not feel like that at first as you first face what it is that might no longer be a fit for you. And that really is okay. Leo, understanding your place in the world, long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, and higher learning. Now, this is an energy that can suggest uncertainty or disappointment. And if you're involved in a legal matter or you're a student in an institute of higher learning, that's not necessarily easy energy to accept or take in or to roll with. And yet, it is at this time that it might feel these matters sort of have a will of their own. Just about any journey now might feel like a spiritual pilgrimage of one kind or another. You're also looking more deeply at the values that guide your life, that help you to make sense of the world, and you're being encouraged to find deeper nuance and compassion to them. Virgo, truth, change, transformation, regeneration, and wealth. So practically speaking, yeah, there might be little mix-ups related to your credit card statements and things like that. So you just want to make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening in terms of your finances in a larger sense, particularly where it comes to dealing with financial institutions. But outside of that, this energy might be deeply personal and meaningful to you, but it really is about identifying what it is that's got to change, what it is your deeper truth is, and where it is that perhaps, especially psychologically or just about any transformative process, needs a dose of faith to be that much more effective. Well, you're cultivating that faith now, that any steps you take towards meaningful change, well, they will add up for something in the fullness of time. Libra, partnerships of all kinds, including love, and where it is perhaps you've had reasonable expectations, where they haven't been reasonable, all of that is going to stir at this time. Either this energy is going to bring disappointment in another person, or it's going to bring with it a need to be really honest with yourself about where it is perhaps you facilitated some disappointment within a particular connection. So pace yourself as you navigate this time. More is yet to be revealed, but certain disappointments, they're worth acknowledging. Where you genuinely feel like someone could have been more fair with you, I think you're about to look at it, accept it, and where connections are strong, where they're meant to last, there'll be that honest exchange to help the two of you move forward. Scorpio, your daily life, clients, customers, coworkers, immediate supervisors, as well as what you do to take the best of care of you. Now, you want to be mindful with these people. Misunderstandings become very possible here, and disappointments as well. Certain promises maybe not able to be kept. In some rare situations, it might feel like one of these people isn't being straightforward with you or honest with you, and that it might be intentional. So just know that there is this sense of uncertainty around these key alliances, but it might also play out in terms of what you're actually doing day in and day out, including with your work. You might end up giving a whole lot of time to a particular project only to have your efforts just wash away. Now, where it comes to your health, make sure you're getting a lot of rest at this time. It's possible that something kind of mysterious pops up, but it also just might resolve itself just as quickly as well. Sagittarius, romance, flirtation. What's fun for you? What brings you happiness? It might be as if the answer is elusive to that question. You do want to be mindful about getting way too carried, way too far where it is you're having fun, especially if you're inclined towards escapist tendencies like drinking. For all that though, a flirtation might either feel like a dream come true, restore your faith, or it might feel just downright disappointing. And someone that you had your eye on, or maybe a budding romance taking place there, well, yeah, if it's meant to go forward, it will. But if it isn't, it'll reveal itself to be the case as well. Capricorn, home, the past, your living situation, and your family of origin. There might have been a real attempt to change something about your living situation. The best efforts might wash away now. But if you are making changes, just know that what you think it is, it's almost like there's so much confusion and you don't even realize it. So just be mindful of that. For all that though, this energy can be very powerful for bringing genuine forgiveness to your past. Now, whether it is a need to forgive another or to forgive yourself, it is about a shift of energy that happens that allows you to move forward towards something that feels a lot more grounding in spiritual truth. Aquarius, communication, conversation, siblings, cousins, neighbors. So with communication, the likelihood of misunderstandings of all kinds of communications, the likelihood of you understanding something else based on what someone has said to you, or someone understanding you differently than you intended, well, these are some possible scenarios that can transpire. So it's a good idea not to have really important conversations under the sky. But for all that, there's also very powerful energy that speaks volumes to your relationships with the types of people I just mentioned. Either there's going to be profound healing and honesty, or maybe one of these people might disappoint you. It might be something of no consequence, but it also might be intentional. So just pace yourself as you navigate this time and give others the benefit of the doubt. Pisces, money you earn, money you spend, self-love, self-esteem. So where it comes to the self-love part, really asking yourself deeper questions and actively doing the work that seeing yourself with eyes of love from a spiritual perspective sometimes requires. But where it comes to money, I would be very careful about things like get rich quick schemes or anything that has to do with changing your source of income, especially major changes. You don't want to make that this week in particular. For all that though, I would also be mindful of spending, because sometimes this energy can represent almost like a waste, a lot going out, and it may be for something that ends up just being a dream or an illusion at that. And so stay mindful that the true prosperity is within. That's what you bring, that's what you have. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.